Israel breaking news today. Sources indicate Israel canceled 2 nights of Iran strikes this week. In light of Iran's attack, Israel is considering its response strategy. According to Israeli military officials, Iran launched a retaliation strike against Israel on Saturday night, launching around 300 unmanned drones and missiles toward various sites across the country. Israel and its allies, including the U.S., were able to intercept the vast majority, according to officials. This assault on Israel occurred almost 6 months after the terrorist group Hamas invaded the nation on October 7, the same day that the Israeli military started bombing the Gaza Strip. Iron Dome, Israel's missile defense system, reportedly withstood 300 threats of all varieties launched by Iran on Saturday, passing the test with flying colors. Daniel Hagari, a spokesman for the Israel Defense Forces, stated that 170 UAVs, over 120 ballistic missiles, and over 30 cruise missiles were launched by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps during the strike. According to Hagari, a very major strategic achievement was the interception of 99% of the threats fired into Israeli land. According to Hagari, the sole Israeli victim from the attack was a 7-year-old girl who was hit by shrapnel, presumably from a missile that had been intercepted, and she was gravely hurt. An anonymous senior U.S. official told ABC News that an attack on Iran by Israel is highly improbable before Passover, yet anything may happen at any time. Monday is the first day of Passover, and it concludes after sunset on April 30th. The official claimed that members of Iran's leadership, including the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, are still on high alert and that some have taken refuge in subterranean facilities or safe houses. 3 Israeli sources informed ABC News that Israel twice in the past week planned to launch retaliation strikes against Iran but ultimately decided against it. On Saturday night and into Sunday morning local time in Israel, Iran launched an attack on Israel using over 300 missiles and drones. On Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, Israel's military council met to discuss the timing and strategy of the response to Iran's attack. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, Minister Benny Gantz, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu make up the Israeli War Cabinet. We have given the Israeli War Cabinet a variety of answers. Reactions might involve cyber attacks or targeting Iranian proxies in the area rather than Iran itself, according to sources cited by ABC News. There was no meeting of the War Cabinet on Wednesday, but Netanyahu informed his government cabinet that Israel will make our own judgments, and the State of Israel will do everything required to defend itself, adding that he values the advice of allies but that Israel will ultimately make its own decisions. During a military parade on Wednesday, Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi warned that Israel would face a very large and brutal response to even the tiniest invasion. 3 national security legislation, covering the Indo-Pacific, Israel, and Ukraine, have their legislative texts made public by Republicans in the House. Legislators have set aside $14.1 billion for Israel, with $3.5 billion going toward the acquisition of U.S. weapons, $1.2 billion toward Iron Beam, $4 billion toward stockpiling supplies for the Department of Defense, and $4 billion toward missile defense. With a statement, President Joe Biden emphasized that the House must pass the deal this week and the Senate should immediately follow suit. To show the world that we stand by our friends and will not allow Iran or Russia to succeed, I will sign this into law immediately. All 3 days of this week should see House votes.